They said the temple was ancient, older than the mountains. It loomed high in the peaks, a black tooth against the sky. The Eye of the Raven, a name spoken in hushed tones, tasted of fear and forbidden knowledge. Villagers avoided the path leading upwards, claiming the mountain guarded the temple's secrets. Few returned unchanged or at all. Legends wove shadows and moonlight, speaking of enlightenment or madness. Men returned with hollowed souls, their eyes seeing too much. The temple was a crucible, burning away the unnecessary, sometimes everything. An old woman told Youssef of a stone raven inside, watching souls, judging them. The temple echoed with choices of those who sought its power. Youssef's brother Omar was a dreamer ensnared by the legend. Omar vanished, leaving only a note seeking the eye. Youssef knew where his brother had gone. He had to follow. Youssef was not like Omar. He believed in facts and logic. Legends were just stories spun to frighten or comfort. He loved Omar but didn't understand his fascination with folklore. The villagers' warnings about the Eye of the Raven, superstition, he thought. Omar was missing, but there had to be a rational explanation. Perhaps he had fallen or gotten lost. Grief could make people see omens in shadows. Youssef vowed to find Omar, or at least find answers. Yet unease took root within him. The villagers' conviction and fear clung to the temple's name. He promised to bring Omar home or die trying. His preparations were methodical: a sturdy backpack, ropes, a knife, food, water, a compass and a map. No charms, just resolve and wits. He had to believe they were enough. The journey began under a pale sun. Youssef moved steadily, noting the thinning trees and bare rock. The path dwindled to a faint goat trail, then the mist materialized, swallowing the world. Silence was profound, a heavy blanket smothering all sound. He felt utterly alone. Unsettling sounds pricked at his hearing. Was it the wind, or something else concealed by the mist? Youssef pushed onward, his logical mind fighting unease. The mountain felt ancient and indifferent. The mist was its breath, cold and uncaring. Each step felt heavier, as if the air resisted his passage. As he climbed higher, stranger things happened. Shadows twisted into unnatural shapes before dissolving. Fatigue, he reasoned, playing tricks on him. Then came the whispers, growing into vocal murmurs. Sometimes he heard Omar's name, other times something older. A chilling certainty formed he was being followed, not by a creature, but an awareness. The mountain or the temple tracked his progress. Every nerve screamed a silent alarm. Youssef fought panic with reason and denial. Legends, fear, and the environment conspired to break his nerve. He clung to explanations, even as dread tightened around his heart. The mist thinned, revealing a dark silhouette against the sky. The Eye of the Raven, perched on the highest peak. It radiated ancient power and desolation. The glimpse spurred him on, a desperate flight towards the inevitable. He scrambled over boulders, the air crackling with unseen energy. A metallic taste filled his mouth. Finally he stood before it. The Eye of the Raven was squat, brutal, carved from black stone. The entrance was a shadowed archway, an inviting darkness. It felt like a wound in the world. Dread washed over Youssef, colder than the mountain wind. The stories and warnings crashed down upon him. This place was wrong, unholy. Every instinct screamed to flee. But he thought of Omar, who had walked into this darkness he knew he could not leave. Youssef stood at the threshold, a solitary figure against the stone. The air was frigid, carrying the scent of decay and secrets. He hesitated, then called out for Omar. Silence devoured his voice, watchful and alive. Taking a breath, he stepped inside. The transition was jarring, from misty light to Stygian gloom. Shapes were indistinct, shadows merging. He felt a shift, as if passing through an invisible membrane. The silence was sentient, a predator. He was inside now, and the temple knew it. The way out was no longer simple. His eyes adapted to the dimness. Faint light filtered from unseen cracks. He found himself in a narrow antechamber. The walls were covered in strange carvings. A glint on the floor caught his eye. A small viscous pool of dark red, blood fresh and sticky. A wave of nausea washed over him. Omar, driven by urgency, he pushed deeper into the temple. The air grew colder, heavier. He entered a vast circular space. A colossal raven statue dominated the room. Its obsidian eyes followed his every move. The air was frigid, his breath misting. The feeling of being scrutinized intensified. The eye of the raven was looking right through him. Behind the raven statue was a doorway. Its surface was a sheet of perfect blackness. It reflected no light, a portal to somewhere else. Youssef was drawn towards it. His reflection swam into view, a darker echo of himself. The reflection smiled, a cruel curve of the lips. The shadow self beckoned him forward. An inexplicable pull, a siren call to his soul. The boundary between him and the reflection blurred, a moment of vertigo, a searing cold, a cacophony of whispers. Then darkness. He was falling, or flying, or ceasing to be. The eye of the raven had claimed him. Youssef gasped, air flooding his lungs. He was lying on cold stone outside. The oppressive darkness was gone. The sky was a bruised purple. The mist vanished. He felt different, a new burden on his mind. Clutched in his hand was a small black feather. He looked back at the temple. It seemed smaller, less menacing. Had he imagined the ordeal? The memories were hazy. He needed to believe it was unreal. As he passed a puddle, he saw his reflection. His eyes held a new darkness, a predatory gleam. For a moment he saw Omar's terrified face within his own gaze. The eye of the raven was not just a place, it was a process. And it was not done with him. Or perhaps its work had just begun.